when people start to really notice how much um, black women have been starting to adopt pretty much kind of like a uniform, which includes, no matter what, no matter where they appear in the world, it could be in politics, it could be in the military, it could be anywhere, but black women feel as though they have a standing order to make sure that, all right, when even though I'm on a world stage, even though I'm elevated, even though I'm in a professional setting, I'm still going to show up this way. I'm showing up with the long lashes that are obviously not mine. I'm showing up with super long nails that look fucking obnoxious. The goddamn raptor claws. You know what I mean? I'm showing up with blue hair. Right. The first thing we see is fucking blue hair. I'll tell you something right now. There is nothing sincere about having blue hair. That all right, but not only that though. I may think it sounds funny, but certain aesthetics, it just has a certain impact on your behavior. Like, so, for example, if you're a dude, right, if you ever put on a suit jacket, right, and some shoes, you walk different. Nigga, I started walking different when I put on a suit jacket and some shoes. You know what I'm saying? By putting a blazer and some shoes, I feel amazing dressed that way. I feel mad important dressed that way. I feel like I'm going somewhere dressed that way. You understand me? Right? Versus if I'm just wearing a joggers and sweats, right? But it's the same thing with women in this aesthetic right here. For the most part, yo, let me tell you something right now. That video I'm about to show you with her fighting her boyfriend, if she would have had on a bonnet, she would have killed him. All right? So we'll go ahead. We want to take a trip down memory lane. So pretty much this is how I was introduced to Shacarii Richardson. It was her basically fucking up her shot at the Summer Olympics because she was, blowing it down and she tested positive for marijuana.
For one breakout track star, the road to the Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo has come to a screeching halt.
And as Shacarii Richardson here failed a drug test after completing her qualifying run, receiving a 1-month doping ban. West News Kelsey Jordan reports some people are outraged.
It's the shock of the sports world. Shacarii Richardson, a breakout star of the U.S. track and field Olympic trials, suspended for 1 month after testing positive for marijuana.
So I apologize for the fact that
Long ass lashes. God damn. Those lashes are so long that they create a shadow on her face.
I didn't know how to control my emotions or deal with emotions.
Richardson was one of the favorites to win the gold medal in the 100-meter race. Now she won't be allowed to run it
Because I always respected your hairline on television.
to go to Tokyo. In an interview on the Today Show, Richardson said she smoked marijuana in Oregon shortly after learning her biological mother had died.
That definitely was a very heavy topic on me. And people don't understand what it's like to have some. Or people do.
The news has sparked outrage among many who argue marijuana is more of a recreational drug than a performance-enhancing drug, and is also fully legal in Oregon, where Richardson was at the time. West 2's Olympic analyst John Siner told me he understands the controversy.
Certainly, as we move forward with let's say, the easing of the restrictions of marijuana, certainly here in the United States, that it becomes into a more gray area of tolerance, really. So, the anti-doping movement for sport is not quite caught up to that yet.
But even though tolerance for marijuana has relaxed in the U.S., it remains on the World Anti-Doping Agency's list of banned substances. Siner told me he not only thinks Richardson's case will put more pressure on the sports world to look at those rules, but that it will also make everyone look at athletes' mental health more too.
All right, I don't lie. So that's some bullshit. All right, listen, as a starter myself, don't get me wrong. She does have mental health problems, but she was not smoking weed because she was having a breakdown because she was emotional. People who smoke, they smoke on a regular basis. She just was smoking. That was just she is the worst at PR. But one of the reasons why this controversy was important was because she had a lot of support from black women and black people in general. Because in our minds, when we see someone show up on the world stage, ghetto as hell, in our minds that's representing. In our minds that's showing everybody, yo, this is who we are. And we don't think about the fact that, nigga, you're basically saying that who we are is low class. You're saying that who we are is ghetto. You know what I mean? She's at the Olympics with these big. You couldn't take off them goddamn lashes. I'm surprised she won these races with them heavy ass lashes. Not only that, the goddamn platinum blonde hair and shit. Like again, the reason why this is important because this is when we start noticing a lot of people who are not strippers and don't sell pussy start adopting the aesthetic of a woman who sells pussy, a woman who takes her clothes off. This is supposed to be an Olympian. You see how her hair was done? Who the fuck wear their hair that way for an Olympic fucking race? And again, this is a good example of how black people are not fucking serious. Shout out to Angry Man. He made this point, and I'll always bring it up. Because when you were serious about your sport, you want to present the best way possible. But again, you know what? Mindset is everything. In her mind, she may think that this is presenting in the best way. But one of the reasons why I brought up that video is because it's important to look at that video because for the most part, she has always been in the news for things like this, right? And Willie, for the most part, it boils down to mindset and her just, like Willie being a hood rat. You know what I'm saying? And her and Umar are two sides of the same coin because they're the kind of black people who are celebrated in the community, even though they really shouldn't be. Like, their flaws are really huge. Their outcomes are really huge. Because what she represents is what black folks do once they get some kind of success. And also it shows, and this is why it always pisses me off to hear black women say shit like, my business, you can be putting money into a business, y'all, this. I'm gonna have my homeboy talk about him getting into an argument with this girl because this girl is saying, when we come into that money, I want you to give me this much for a business. Now, mind you, this is not someone who has any know-how. And that's when I start realizing that women kind of just be saying stuff. They don't really be seriously thinking. But not only that, a lot of men don't understand. Women don't have long-term thinking, right? But going back to the whole, I feel like it's like a destiny that we manifest no matter what. Where it's like, all right, no matter what, cause I think it's mostly because you don't have the proper upbringing, the proper mindset and perspective. In her mind, she thinks all she has to do is run, and she doesn't understand the sacrifice for the level that she's on. She's in the Olympics. If you wanted to smoke, you're supposed to have a whole way around that. If that's what you're doing, or while you there, just don't smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a path in life you want to get to, and that's one thing about smoking too, it can hold you back from things that require a drug test because a lot of people won't want to do that job if they get drug tested all the time. Don't get me wrong. It is true. I will say, in regards to the marijuana situation, I'm not saying just because I'm a stoner, right? I'm also saying it because it is true that, you know what, her smoking weed has no impact or doesn't give her any advantage over the competitors. The idea is supposed to be that, okay, we don't want you to have things in your system that would give you an advantage over your competitors. You know what I mean? If anything, it would give the competitors an advantage over her, right? But also, too, I think black people wanted to support this because we wanted to see a nigga get away with some shit on the national stage. Because in our minds, this is what power is. Our idea of power is, for the most part, is acting a fool in public, acting a fool around white folks, and seeing that we can get away with it. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead back to this controversial video. So the body cam footage has come out of Shacarii and her boyfriend, and we're going to play that. We're also going to play her apology.
Have no problem with that. You know who I am. Happy to put my hands on him. We had an argument. I'll be honest about that. No argument, and that's pretty much it.
This right here is new body camera video of the moments before Olympic sprinter Shacarii
Long ass
Richardson
nails,
was
man.
arrested at SeaTac Airport last month. You heard her tell police she did not touch her boyfriend, but airport security footage shows her shoving him multiple times before police arrived right here in this corner. Officers were called to
You see this? She shoved him into the wall. She pushed him as hard as she could. She was angry. Let me tell you something. A girl that gets angry enough to start putting her hands on you, that's an angry girl. This right here is an abusive hood rat chick. All right? But not only that, it's just important to get this footage out there because this is what relationships are for black men for most of their life if they're in a relationship with a black woman. One way or the other, this is what it is. Where it's a one-way aggression, this one way, because whether she's doing it to you physically or not, now this is a physical attack, and that's the only reason why I got attention. That's probably the only reason he may get away from her. He may not get away from that girl. Okay, so Crimson Curry was touching on this, but I'm going to also kind of give my perspective on this relationship in a moment. But this is what black men mostly deal with. It did, but for the most part, what I've come to understand is that it's my theory that the only women who are going to stay in a relationship long term are torturers and destroyers. The kind of woman who wants to destroy your life, so it's not the left, and then she'll leave you, and the kind of woman who wants to pretty much torture you. Because a lot of men don't realize that women like power, so they find power in wasting your time. They find power in annoying you. They find power in arguing with you, going back and forth. But they love to make you feel shit, and they will go about doing that in a myriad of ways. A woman that's more healthy, she'll do it in a more positive way. She wants to make you feel happy, right? But also, people always want you to feel what they feel. So you come across a woman that's really unhappy, really angry. What she's always going to try to do is make you feel how she feels, which is inadequate, all right, insecure, so on and so forth, right? But let me play the rest of this real quick.
Security after she pushed him in a packed terminal right outside security checkpoint 4. She was then booked into jail and then released the next day. This week she addressed what happened on her social media.
Bullying being definitely a lot of self-reflection, a lot of understanding of not only putting myself in a compromised situation with somebody that I have deep care and appreciation for as well, is something that holding myself accountable.
Along with a recorded apology to her fans and family, she
This is what she wrote. She wrote this shit in all caps. Okay, Christian came into my life and gave me more than a relationship, but a greater understanding of unconditional love. Basically, you know what I'm saying, he let her abuse him. Unconditional love from what I've experienced in my past, due to my past trauma and pain. I was blind and blocked off to not only receive but give it. I love him, and to him I can't apologize enough. My apologize should be just as loud as my actions. Honestly, louder, something, whatever. All right.
posted this statement apologizing to her boyfriend for what happened at the airport.
Have no problem with leaving him I am. Happy to put my hands on him. We had an argument.
So, this is relationships right now. So, you see her in front of policemen, right? And I guess in the heat of the moment, I guess she's not able to use her brain and realize that there are cameras on y'all, that people can see you, and that they're cops. They're gonna go review the footage. She said, "I have not put my hands on him." Now, I didn't play the full video, but the boyfriend actually tries to protect her and tries to keep her from getting in trouble. He even said she didn't do anything to me. That was in the other video. And this is something that a lot of black men get caught up in. Like last year, I was in a kind of a messed up situation. I'm driving. And what's crazy was this only happened because I was doing a nice thing for my family. Because I came to drop off something for my grandmother. So I'm driving back home. I'm coming down Grove Street, and this car comes off a side street. And so many words, the car hits me. I realized the car's getting ready to hit me, and I actually stopped enough for the person to have stopped too. That had they done that, we wouldn't have had as bad of an accident. The person, I guess, didn't see me and just kept driving into me. And I'm like, what the fuck? So the car actually, the car did get suffer some damage, but my front bumper got a little bit and it got a little scratched up, and I just never had time to get it fixed. But anywho, the point was this: old girl had her friend driving, and her friend didn't have no license, and it wasn't her friend's car. The front old girl's car was totaled. Now, when the cops came, first of all, the girl came across the street. She didn't ask me, was I okay? I asked was she okay to be kind. She didn't even ask me, hey, are you okay? Hey, I'm so sorry. Nothing. These hood rat chicks weren't grateful at all. So the girl asked me to tell the cops that it was her driving, and yo, she didn't say thank you, nothing. At the time, I didn't really know what to do. I'm like, well, I don't really benefit from saying that, yo, it was her driving. Know what I mean? And then her fat girlfriend come across the street, and this is where I got to experience how much women cannot mentally handle the weight of consequences. So she done crashed the girlfriend's car. Probably the only time she let her drive because she can't really drive. All right, like the girl didn't even have the reflexes to know when to stop. Now Grove Street in Irvington, if you know that street, that is a great street to have an accident on if you were inexperienced driving, because most people have to go through 2 lanes of traffic to make that left turn onto Grove Street. So you're making a left turn. It's a very busy street. So you have to basically wait until both sides are clear and have great timing. Not impeccable timing, but if you're an inexperienced driver, you will turn at the wrong time. And that's just the reality of turning off a side streets onto a main street. But my point being is, I tried to help them out, and they didn't show me any gratitude. And also, when old girl got the car, the one who actually drove into me, she couldn't just say, "I'm so sorry for that. I really don't drive like that," or whatever. She comes and asks me, "I don't know. So I look this way, I look that way, and then you came out of nowhere. I'm just trying to figure out what happened." And I'm like, I said, "So what you mean what happened? You hit my car." And she's like, "Oh, okay, all right." And like, whenever you have an exchange with somebody, or you talk to someone and they ask you a question and you answer it, and they kind of go right into, "All right, whatever, you got it," type shit, that person's gaslighting you. Okay. Also, that guy's a young guy. This is when abusers like her get guys and try to hold on to them because they're like a supply. I don't know if you ever heard about how like narcs have a supply. They're like a supply. Most black men are conditioned from a young age to tolerate this kind of shit. Now it's coming to a head now. Now she in law again. No emotional regulation. She's throwing a tantrum as a grown ass woman who has grown woman strength and her own autonomy. So you put all that together, that equals a person who feels very comfortable putting their hands on you in public. Now she's doing this shit in public. It's not even like it's late at night when no one's around. It's like mad people around. And I said this shit earlier. Whoever called the cops on her, I can bet all the money in the world it was not a black woman. Probably wasn't even a black person. They probably called the cops because it was making everyone uncomfortable that she kept pushing and hitting him, and she just slapped the nigga against the wall. I told y'all earlier. Yo, let me tell you something. If Shacarii would have had a bonnet on with the nails and the lashes and shit, she'd have killed him. She'd have killed because it'd been too much power. Way too much power. And no one hood rat should have all that power. But I think this conversation opens things up to a bigger conversation. Again, like I said before, I really don't think that had she not been hitting him physically on camera, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Most black men get into relationships with women, and from what I be hearing, they don't even be realizing how unfulfilled they sound. Because for the most part, they don't get much out of it. They like this woman doesn't really do anything they like. It's very much like a duty relationship where the guy he's attending to his duty and the woman kind of just is living life. It's like for the most part, family life for the American family has become one where we censor the mother and make the mother the center of everything. And somehow when we do that, we put all the focus on her and we don't realize that it's not a good allocation of energy because she's not the leader. You need to put all the attention and focus on the leader and the one that you need to make the best decisions. Because everyone needs leadership. I mean, like, look at Dr. Umar. Very intelligent guy. Obviously, a very capable guy. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't raised right. They didn't have proper leadership. Who's your OG? There was no man that was raising him when it comes to getting money. No man raising him when it comes to presentation. I'm sure he had mentors, but not the right mentors. Again, leadership, right? Shacarii. You on the world stage, and what she's doing is everything that hood rats do. Cause like, yo, she still has the mindset of a hood chick. And that's the thing about black folks. We'll get big opportunities, we'll get mainstream opportunities, but we'll come there with a mindset, that hood mindset. Well, let me see if I can get over it. You know what I'm saying? Let me see how many rules I can break. Really, black folks find a lot of pleasure in pushing boundaries, man. But anyway, I have to go. You know what I'm saying?
If you can talk about my career, then I could talk about your life. Yes. And it should be.
Before we go, man, let's do a song. Hey. Some of you niggas ain't real. We out, man.
Come get me, baby.
We out, man. We out. Where my thing at? We go.